Live Q&A as it relates to questions people have pertaining to personal credit. I'm literally about to do a live Q&A session. Really, it's a giveaway. I'm giving people a free credit class as well as a credit crash course. And if you want access to that, you'll be able to get it down in the link below. But I'm doing this all live on Clubhouse. And we'll see if people chime in. But basically, I'm setting it up so they can just come in, and then I give them the steps on how they can access the free credit class and the crash course in order to make sure that they have what they need in order to take their credit to the next level. What up? You got Mr. Smith, 0.5 of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And in this video, I'm going to be doing a live Q&A. My goal is for it to just be about, 20 minutes, give or take, 20, 30 minutes, give or take, and then just get out because I got some other things I need to do. And Clubhouse, if you haven't been on there, you can kind of get lost in the sauce and end up being on there longer than you need to. But my goal is to be pretty much magnify my efforts. So by doing this video, I'm killing a couple of things at one time versus just being on here listening or just doing a session and not getting any content from it. So I want to magnify my efforts by doing the same thing all at once. Hope that makes sense. So let's see if people hop on. If not, no big deal. I still give you some nuggets on what you can do to better your credit in this video so I don't waste your time, because that's what I'm really big about. I don't want to waste anybody's time if I can avoid doing so, and definitely don't want my time wasted as well. So that being said, let's go. Let's see. All right, got the title set. Boom. All right, perfect. So I'm set up, and if people hop in, then I just give them the instructions on how they can gain access to it. And if you're looking for us on Clubhouse, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the @ symbol, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, will give you instant access to us. And that way you can follow us, chime in, and get access to the things that we're doing, the content that we're delivering, the Q&A that we're bringing forth, and hopefully you get some benefit from what we share. And if you haven't already, click that thumbs up button, hit that bell notification, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any good content that we put out. We literally been giving away tons of great, valuable information that's applicable. Some things are free. Some things you might have to invest in yourself. But either way, it's to bring value and benefit you. And then hopefully if you get some results, share them in the testimonies and let us know, hey, I applied this and I got this result. Thank you. Simple as that. And if you need our assistance on anything, whether it's to restore your credit or help you, answer any specific questions, by all means, don't hesitate to reach out with just a message or an inbox or a comment away. So let's see. All right, now, do I have this room locked? Typically, yeah, I think I have it. Let's see. Oh, I know what I did wrong. Let me end this room. I know what I did wrong. All right, now let's go. So I tried this again. I did one thing wrong out of the steps that I tend to follow when I'm doing the Q&A. But with that being said, let's see if we get it rolling, get it rocking and rolling. And if not, don't nobody hop on within couple of minutes, then we'll go from there. But as it relates to your credit, I really like to hit on one of the main things that I find myself repeating over and over again, and I do it because a lot of people don't understand it. Hey, Queen, I see you, Dominique. Basically, welcome to the stage. If you have a question, you can let me know. But basically, what I'm doing is I wanted to create a revolving door room to where you can just come in, get your free credit class, and then get out. But if you have a question specific to personal credit, I can get that answered. The way that you get your free credit class, all you have to do, follow us here, go to our IG link, and then follow us there. And if you click that link in the bio, you'll see where it's a free credit class as well as a crash course. You get access to it pretty much immediately. All you have to do is put in your email address, just our way of giving back and giving value in hopes that we can help people all across the country boost their credit score. So if you want access to their credit score, all you have to do is follow us here, go to our IG, follow us there. Link in the bio will take you to the free credit class as well as the crash course. But Queen, if you have a personal credit question, you're welcome to unmute yourself and ask that question. But if not, you're free to, go to another room or whatever the case may be. But make sure you do not miss grabbing your free credit class and crash course. I also see another Queen, I believe, Breon. I don't want to mess up your name if I haven't already, but if you're in and you heard a bit of what I was saying, basically this is a revolving door kind of room. Basically, you can get in. If you have a personal credit question, by all means, you can ask it. But if not, just grab your free credit class by liking and following us here, following us on Instagram, and clicking that link in the bio. All right, Breon, I believe that's how you say your name. I brought you to the stage. Talk to me, Queen.
Hi, I did everything. I liked you guys' pages on Instagram and stuff, and I signed up, but I entered in my email and everything, but I haven't got anything in return back.
Got you. Try it again, because I did have to make some updates, and I sent out an email blast today saying it was brought to my attention that a couple of people did not get the free credit class. So try it again. Hopefully it doesn't disallow you. You may have to use a different email address, but as soon as you put that email address in, it should take you directly to the credit class this time around. I had to work out some tweaks. And if not, you let me know or send me a DM on Instagram, and I can see you the direct link to the credit class just to make sure you get the credit class.
Okay, thank you. And then also, is there a way you could unlock the room so I could ping a few people in that I know that is interested in credit?
Yes. Yeah, I don't mind unlocking the room. What I was going to do was let it build up, then unlock the room. If a few people came in, that was what I was intending to do. But if you know some people specifically, then I can go ahead and unlock the room now, and you can ping them. And if they have direct questions, we can get them addressed right here.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that, because there's a lot of people from my town that's just now getting on here. So we've all been talking about credit and business credit for our businesses and everything. So, and just getting our credit good so that we can get our business credit up.
Okay.
Started. So I'm just trying to help everybody out with all the information that I'm receiving, because I have been in one of your rooms before.
I love it. And is it business credit they're seeking or personal credit?
Personal credit, because like with us, it's like, well, with the group of ladies that I meet with, our goal is to get our credit up first, our personal credit, to get our houses and our cars and everything situated, because a lot of us are single moms, and then we were going to work on working on our business credit. Because from my experience of working with different credit, because I took courses on to do credit, and the thing that I learned from it was that it's best to work on your personal credit first before we venture off and do our own credit, because it all starts with us anyway. So it might as well look good first before we get our business credit up.
Absolutely. That's a smart move. I love it. You're doing exactly what you need to be doing. Hey, Queen Samantha, I just brought you on the stage. Basically, this is a in and out kind of room unless you have a personal credit question. Basically, if you want to access the free credit class and crash course, if you haven't already, follow us here, then go to our IG, follow us there, and then the link in that IG bio will take you to the 100% free credit class as well as the crash course. But Samantha, if you have a personal credit question, you can unmute and ask it right now if you'd like to do so, Queen. And the same for you too, Dimitri. Hey, go ahead, I'm listening.
Thank you so much for having this. I'm driving, so if you can't hear me, let me know.
Okay.
So my personal credit question is, the only thing, so my credit has, it doesn't have any derogatory statement. It has, what was that? Late payment. So I had, in 2018, I had a moment when I wasn't really working, like I think it was 3 months. And so I have late payments. One is 60 and I think one is 90, something like that. And so I sent a letter to Capital One and asked them, because that's who the late payment was with, to ask them if they can do a goodwill delete, I think. Called them, not, and they said no.
Okay. When you sent out the letter, you just sent it to the address that showed up on your credit report? Is that what you did?
Yes. Did you hear me?
Yes, it cut in and out, but I heard you ultimately. This is what I tend to do, because a lot of times if one person tells you no, it's just you talking to the wrong person. In other words, there may be somebody else who's willing to do it. And a lot of times it's about posture. It's about verbiage. It's about saying something that provokes an emotion, whether they understand your situation or whether they find some humor or, it connects with them in some type of way. So make sure you pay attention to the verbiage in it. But what I tend to do is if it's a certain company, and I've actually sent out a letter to Capital One specifically, if it's a certain company, what I'll do is find out a few key people that's a part of their organization. I find the CEO, I may find the CFO, and then I might find a treasurer or somebody who's into customer retention. And if you find a few people that fit that description, now when you're mailing out those letters, you can put attention each one of those. So just those three people, there'll be three different letters. You hit attention to each one of those, and then you increase the chances of it likely being removed because it tends to get in the hands of someone who's a decision maker a lot more quicker, and it just diversifies your possibilities. It gives you three options versus just one. So that's something I would try if you have not already, Queen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. No, I only mailed it to the address that's on my credit report. I didn't think about that.
Yep. So that's something that I would do, and it has resulted in results. And sometimes you'll see more than one address on the credit report, and you'll send it, to both. So just put attention to somebody that you find from their lineup, because usually you can just do a Google search and they'll have a list of people who basically fall into CEO, CFO, treasurer, or somebody who might be into customer retention. And you being a customer, they want to retain you as a customer. They may be willing to remove that, and that can help your score pretty good, because late payments are definitely something, especially if it's within the past 2 years. Late payments is something that if you can get it removed, it'll benefit you.
That's what I was thinking, because I hadn't had any late payments since then. It was just that period, and then I just never realized that it made a big difference.
Absolutely, definitely, and they're cracking down more. So going forward, make sure those payments are on time. Try that method if you haven't already, and if you have questions, let us know. Also, if you haven't, grab that free credit class and crash course, and basically you just follow us here and on Instagram, and then that link in the bio will show you how to access the credit class as well as the crash course. And that goes for everybody else in the audience. I see we had a few new people come in the audience. If you haven't already, basically, if you want the free credit class and crash course, follow us here, follow us on IG, click that link in the bio, and you'll see the 100% free credit class as well as the crash course. Put your email address in there, get access to it, and I think it'll serve you well in terms of you understanding the credit game and how to restore it yourself. Also, if you're in the audience and you have a specific personal credit question, all you got to do is raise your hand. I'll bring you up to the stage and get your personal credit question answered. But I just wanted this room to function like a revolving door. You can get in, get your question answered, or just get in and grab the free goodies that we're giving away, and then, ease on out if you would like to do so, or listen in if you hear some questions that may fit your scenario. But if you want to access the free credit class, all you have to do is go follow us here, follow us on IG, click the link in our IG bio, and you're good to go in accessing those free courses. Tay, I see I just brought you to the stage, Queen. Do you have a personal credit question?
Yes, I do. And hi, thanks for the opportunity. While you were talking, I was trying to find it, but my credit score right now is actually 748, something like that. So I think it's pretty decent. I was able to go in and get the vehicle and everything that I wanted. So I haven't really had any problems with that part. But one thing that I do know that's negative on my credit report is it's like this is like past 10 years. I was trying to find my paperwork so I can tell you the exact date, but I can get you on a later time with that. But it's through Vantage Credit Union, and it was like one of my first credit cards that I had with them, and I had one payment that was late, and they will not remove it. Like, I have written letters and, like you said, search to see if you can address the CEO or whatever. And I've done that, and there still was no good response on that. So I was just trying to see, do you know if I should just keep pushing at it again,
Okay. Got you. That's a good question. And definitely, if you want them to remove the late payment, the only reason why I would see them want to remove a late payment that was that old, especially if it's like 10 years plus, is if you plan on reopening up another account or something with them. It kind of gives them an incentive. It kind of dangles the option or the possibility of you setting up a new account with them. And you're saying, hey, I'm looking forward to setting up a new account, but I would love to get that late payment removed. So going forward, we can have a solid relationship. But if you're not planning on setting up a new account with them, I wouldn't bother with it, but I definitely would not delete it. I repeat, do not delete it. Reason being, it sounds like that may be one
because
of your...
it's history.
Yeah. Yeah. So you don't want to delete the account, or make sure the verbiage in the letter doesn't accidentally make them delete the account, because then, it'll affect your credit from a credit history standpoint, as you know.
Right. And can I just sneak in one more question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. And so that's why, okay, so another card that I've gotten in like my earlier years, which this is old too, but there's no late payments, good standing and everything. But now that I've graduated and I've got Discover and I've got like American Express, I'm getting the cards that I want. I want to eliminate Credit One. And I know you probably heard of them, but they were like they were the only people who, you can get a credit card through them easily. So that's why I did it. But I don't want them. I feel like I don't need them anymore. Only need the age history, but I don't need them, as far as like using them. And they charge an annual fee. So that's another reason why I really want to get rid of them, because they charge an annual fee.
Gotcha. Okay. I understand that, and definitely understand keeping those accounts open, just so it doesn't affect your utilization. That's one of the reasons to do it. If it's a decent amount or decent credit limit, keeping it open helps with your utilization. In some cases, it may be okay to close it, but you want to at least replace it with some good utilization. So, for example, say you had 3 credit cards and a total of $15,000 credit limit. One had $5,000, one had $4,000, the other one had $6,000. And say your Credit One card was a $5,000 credit limit. If you do close it, you want to have another card in position that at least helps fulfill that limit, especially if you carry a balance, so that it helps you have a good utilization. Now, you may want to consider this, and I'm not looking at the list right off the top of the head. You may want to consider seeing if they have any other cards that they can possibly roll you into that does not have an annual credit fee, that's kind of like a upgrade, so to speak, so that it's a transaction, or it's not you necessarily closing, it's you just kind of upgrading the type of card that you have with them that fits more of the qualifications that you're seeking. So look into that to see if they have another card that doesn't have the annual fee and whatever else you dislike, and that may be an option for you to consider as well. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because I was just like, dang, should I just go on and just take that ding for aging? Because that's what I would take it for. I would take it for aging, because they were like one of the second cards that I've ever had in my 38 years of life. So it's like, I just like, dang, I kind of want to just get rid of them. But at the same time, it's like, because I want to I only want to have my Navy Federal credit card and my Discover. That's it. Like Capital One and Credit One, I don't want them anymore.
I understand.
I'm with y'all. No,
I feel you. And people love Navy Federal, so I hear nothing but good things about Navy Federal, so I understand.
Navy Federal, I'm not getting paid for advertising or nothing, but Navy Federal has been very generous. I just opened up a business account yesterday to go along with my business. But yes, for people who are listening in, I'm sorry, but Navy Federal, yes, they are very open. And I'm just say this real quick. I'm not trying to like brag or nothing, but I have over $100,000 in my account with Regions. Regions offered nothing. When I say nothing, they didn't offer any perks or anything. And I've been with Regions for well over 10 years too, for my primary checking and stuff, but they offered me nothing. But when I went to Navy, they offered me everything. They like opened the door. So I do recommend Navy.
Absolutely. I recommend it to clients as well. So I definitely agree with you wholeheartedly. So keep me posted on if you're able to make that transition, but you're definitely thinking about it and going about it correctly. Salute to your success. in your business and finances, the whole 9 yards. If you're just now getting in the room, basically this is a revolving door kind of room. You have the ability to get in, get out. We're not trying to take up a whole lot of your time unless you just want to get some of your questions answered. But basically, if you want to gain access to the free credit class and the crash course, all you have to do is follow us here, go to our IG, follow us there, and then click the link in the bio, and you'll see the 100% free credit class as well as the crash course. Put your email in, get instant access to both of those, and I think it'll serve you well in terms of knowledge. And if you apply what you learn, it'll help you score for real, for real. So that being said, get access to that if you haven't already. If you have a question, raise your hand. I'll bring you up to the stage. I just let one queen in, and I believe her name is Marcinda. Did I say your name correctly, Queen? Marcinda, Queen, can you hear me? Are you there?
I'm here now. Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. Yes, you said my name right. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Talk to me. You got a personal credit question?
Yeah, I just jumped in, but I did hear her mention Navy Federal. Don't you have to have a certain credit score before you should apply for a Navy Federal card?
Well, they accept mediocre credit scores, but it's really not about the credit score as much as it's about the relationship to someone who's in the military. So whether you have a military background or if you're connected to someone who is, that's the main thing.
Okay, I heard about that, Hank. So I just thought that after that, my credit score, because right now I'm just working on my credit, so I'm trying to get it up there. But somebody had suggested in another room that it should be like 620 or something before I even do the hack.
Yeah, usually it is around the 600 mark per se. So are you far from it, or that's what you're working towards, getting into that place so you can?
I'm working towards it, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, once you get to that range of about 600, give or take, they're usually accepting. So I say give it a try. Then, do you have any specific credit questions about your journey of what you're doing to get your score up?
I've been in a lot of different rooms. I did a few things. Somebody talked about Upturn. I disputed a few things on there in collections, even though another lady was like, she don't suggest you do anything online with disputes. I did it anyway, so I don't know how that's going to work. I just did it yesterday. I'm just I got some inquiries off. I got like 8 inquiries off with another hack that I learned. But it's basically just getting these collections off and trying to figure out how to get these late payments off.
Gotcha. Yeah, if you haven't already, grab that free credit class, but definitely grab that crash course because I think it'll give you some insight on things to do. I stand by the queen that you said doesn't necessarily recommend disputing things online. That's how I feel, because what it does is it pretty much gives away some of your rights. So you kind of give up some of your rights when you dispute things online, and some of it may be on the redisputing aspect. So say you dispute something online, you have success or no success. If it's time to redispute, sometimes your rights have been waived due to the fact you did it online versus via letter. That's based on what I know thus far. If anything changed, then I change what I teach people and clients. But so that's my perspective on that. But other than that, definitely grab those free items, and I think it'll help you on your journey, because collections can be removed if it makes sense to do so, and definitely late payments can be removed because that's a big one. But the reason why I say if it makes sense to remove the collections is because sometimes people have a collection or a charge out and it's connected to one of their oldest accounts, and if it's connected to your oldest account, then you strip yourself of some of that credit history that you built up over time. So you don't want to just go in there deleting everything, because if you lose some of that credit history, even if the account was bad, it can still drop your score, because after a certain amount of years, it's more so your credit history that's benefiting from an old account, even if it's negative. So make sure you look at the date that account was open, and whatever your oldest account was, especially if it's reporting to all 3 bureaus, don't delete it. So as you go through your journey, keep that in mind, and I think it'll take you a long way.
Thank you for that. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Queen. I see we have some new people that just hopped in. If you just hopped in, basically this is a revolving door, in and out kind of room. We don't want to take up a lot of your time, but if you have a question, you can raise your hand. I'll bring you up to the stage. If you want to claim access to the free credit class and crash course, follow us here. Go to our IG. Follow us there. Click that link in the bio. You'll see the 100% free credit class and crash course. And then when you put your email address in, you'll get access to both of those items. If you have a personal credit question, raise your hand. I'll bring you to the stage. Brian, I believe you were next in line. Can you talk to me?
Yeah. Quick question. Should or a better way to phrase it. Will freezing your credit affect a dispute?
Okay.
Like if you got a dispute currently in place, and you decide to freeze, your reports, your credit reports after that, would that affect the dispute?
Gotcha. It depends on how you go about doing the freeze. So because it can benefit you. So, for example, it's some other bureaus that report outside of Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax that some people know about, many don't. And it's a way that you can go about freezing those external reporting agencies that sometimes TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax are getting their data from. So, for example, 4 of them that are some of the other credit reporting agency is CoreLogic, Innovis, LexisNexis, and it's another one that escapes me right now, but it's quite a few others, but those are some of the top ones. If you freeze that account and you dispute something with Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, it can help you because when they're trying to pretty much verify something that you're disputing, it will allow it to be removed easier. But that's a more in-depth conversation. But freezing certain accounts can have some benefits when you do it in that manner. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does make sense. You said LexisNexis.
Yep, LexisNexis, Innovis, CoreLogic, and it's another one in that top 4 that escapes me right now that are also reporting agencies. Basically, this is where they get some of their data from, and different ones are known for reporting different forms of data. And there's ways that you can freeze that and then go through the dispute process and sometimes get some good results. So you definitely want to know what you're doing when you do it, but it definitely is a strategy that can be of benefit.
Okay. I think you pretty much answered. My question. I got to look up those different bureaus. Take a look at them.
And send me an inbox, man, on IG. And I'll tell you the top 4 because that 4th one I can't think of, but I'll send that to you as soon as it comes to my mind. And then if you're looking into it, you'll at least have it, so you'll have that additional one to look into. And there are tons of other ones out there that I didn't even mention, but those are the top ones that you want to make sure you are aware of.
Okay.
All right, I see some more.
Thank you. I just followed you on here, and I'm on there getting ready to send you a message on the ground.
All right, perfect. All right, I see a few more people have entered the room. Basically, this is a revolving door. Get in, get out. Unless you have a personal credit question, all you have to do is follow us here, follow us on IG, and then in the IG link, you'll see where you can access the free credit class and the crash course free of charge. All you got to do is put in your email address. You get access to it. But if you have a personal credit question and you want to raise your hand, I'll bring you up to the stage and get that question answered. However, if all you need is the free credit class and crash course and you want to dive into that content first prior to asking any questions, that's what this room is for. Don't want to take up a lot of your time. I know how it can be to be in a room for a long time on Clubhouse, so I wanted to take a different approach and give people some free value just for entering the room and listening and following the steps, then answer some questions for somebody who may have a more personal credit question. So if you just hopped in, all you got to do in order to access the free credit class and crash course is follow us here, follow us on IG, click that link in that bio, and you'll see both options on that link. So if you have a personal credit question, raise your hand and I'll bring you to the stage. I won't stay in here too long. Got a couple of things I need to do credit wise. Just wanted to take a amount of time to give away some nuggets, and then we may come back and do it a little later. But if you have a question now's a good time for you to raise your hand and I'll bring you to the stage and get your personal credit question answered. No question is a bad question.
It's Marcinda again. Can I ask while somebody else wait for their question?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I noticed, remember I told you I disputed some stuff on Upturn, and I noticed that after I disputed a few things, I got 2 emails asking for settlements for 2 of the things that I disputed. I should not settle them, right, because I'm disputing them.
Right. Unless the only time you'll do a settlement is if it's something you're doing like a pay for delete. So basically you'll want to get something in writing that states, if I pay this amount, you will delete this from my credit report. And that is a strategy. So it's just based on what you want to do, but don't pay anything unless you get it in writing that they're going to remove it from your credit report altogether. Sometimes people make payments to these entities and collection agencies, but they never get in writing that they're going to remove it. And if they don't get it in writing, then they don't necessarily have to remove it. And they just kind of stuck in the same boat. So keep that in mind, Queen.
So do I call them and ask them for that paper?
If you're planning on paying them the settlement. If not, and you just want to keep with the disputing process to see if you can get it out first, then you can delay the call and, just see if you're able to get your result without calling them. But if it gets to a point where you're like, okay, I'll be willing to pay them something to get them to delete it, make sure you get it in writing, email, document, something that proves that they're going to remove it. That way, when you do pay it, if they don't remove it, you have something that you can use and send to the bureaus and say, hey, they said they were going to remove it based on me paying it. I paid it. They haven't removed it. So they'll get it removed for you.
Got you. Thank you so much again.
My pleasure, Queen. I see Jalencia. Is that it? You're on the stage. Do you have a personal credit question, Queen?
Yes, good afternoon. How are you?
Doing great. How you doing?
Great. My question is, I'm trying to repair my credit, paying off the credit cards. What's the best way to pay the credit cards off? Because I was told you want to wait until the bill comes and then pay on it, or do I pay on it on the due date, or what would I need to do to increase my credit by paying the credit cards off?
Gotcha. The main thing and sometimes I hear a lot of different people, DeAndre, thank you, brother. I hear a lot of different people who talk about the statement dates and all of that, and that is a good strategy. The thing is, some people have a decent amount of credit cards and they forget, okay, what day should I pay it on? And they're trying to keep up with the dates they should pay it on. If they don't set it in their calendar, they may forget. So a simple thing to remember is aim to get your credit utilization on your credit cards under 10%. Some people recommend 30. I've seen the results of under 10%. So I'm telling you, under 10% is what you want to aim for. So aim for that, and then you're not necessarily worried about the date. However, if you want to pay based on the scheduled dates, a simple way to do it is just kind of making 2 separate payments within a month, because it kind of tricks the system. So say you pay before the statement date, then you make another payment that may be half of what your amount you're planning on paying that next month, and then you pay again before the statement date. So it tricks the system because you're paying twice before the date, but your ultimate goal is to get it under 10%. So that's the angle I would take to not make you have to worry about specific dates per se. Just set a goal for getting that credit card utilization under 10%. Does that make sense, Queen?
Yes, thank you.
My pleasure, my pleasure. If you're just now coming in the room, basically this is a revolving door room. If you have questions, I'll bring you up to the stage and let you ask a personal credit question. But if you just want access to what you see in the title, which is a free credit class and a crash course, all you have to do is follow us here and follow us on IG and click that link in that bio. You'll see a 100% free credit class as well as a crash course. Put your email address in, you'll get access. D'Angelo, you're on the stage. You can unmute and ask your personal credit question, King.
Hey, how y'all doing? Thank you for the opportunity to come up and ask my question. I just wanted, right now, I'm kind of like, I've been working on my credit for a long time. It kind of dropped down to like the 400s after my dad passed. I just kind of like stopped caring about it. But it's been like 6 years since that's happened, and it's actually gone up tremendously. I was working with somebody even before I got on Clubhouse about pulling some things off my credit report, and that did help actually. I started off with like a secure card with Navy Federal, $200, and then after like 6-7 months, they actually boosted my card up to a $2,000 limit back here in November or beginning of December, and I was trying to already like position myself so I could purchase like a home. So now that my credit score is going up, I've also started to apply for mortgage loans. So I applied for financing through Navy Federal. I've also went through Quicken Loans. Quicken Loans is basically pre-approved me for the FHA loan. And then Navy Federal offers this 100% financing. So I'm pretty much getting the pre-approved for that too. But the thing is, my student loans have affected me. So I've had to go back to student loans and go back into repayments. So I'm waiting on that to come back. So instead of them charging me the 1%, they can give me a lower monthly payment. So last night, I think I was on another line. And basically, I guess my question is, I want to know, am I moving too fast or do I need to slow down and just wait? Because I do want to purchase something. But the thing is, I'm concerned now because this week alone, I've been applying for mortgages. I've heard that, if you do the apps within the 14 days, it doesn't hurt your score. But at the same time, I was in another room last night and I got this list of like secret lenders and things like that. And I actually got approved for a Discover card for like $7,000. So now I'm kind of wondering, like, am I applying for too many different things? And I also applied for like 3 American Express cards, but I only applied for them because they told me that my chances were, I met the, I guess, requirements to apply. But when they ran it, I got denied for it. So I was really shocked I got the Discover card. But nonetheless, I'm just trying to figure out, am I moving too fast? Or I need to, maybe like be, am I being a little too anxious? Or should I just kind of like just trust the process? Or like, what would you suggest, like, as far as, I guess where I'm trying to go as far as like, position myself to actually purchase something? Because I know if I get too many inquiries, that could mess me up too. And with my score just not going up, I'm not at a 700 yet. I'm pretty close, but I don't want to, mess myself up and, be back down where I was before. I know I won't go all the way down to the 400s, but still, I still want to be, at a good score.
Got you. Hey, great question. Great question. First of all, I salute you for just taking action, because a lot of times imperfect action beats no action at all. So it's not that you're moving too fast. Sometimes you just might want to do things in a certain way. It's okay to go through the pre-approval process so you can kind of know how much home you can actually buy. So once you go through that pre-approval process, it just kind of positions you to understand what to look for and buy, less home than what they actually are willing to approve you for. But you do probably want to wait at least, I say 3 months or 90 days after your series of inquiries, because they will look at that. When it's time to get you actually qualified for the home, they will see all of those different inquiries. And sometimes that could be a red flag in their eyes if it's too recent after you've applied for those inquiries. So buy yourself some time. But in the meantime, some of the things you've done, specifically getting that Discover card, there's a $7,000 limit, and doing the other things that have taken your score up, can still be of benefit, because you having a higher limit card, such as a Discover card with $7,000 credit limit, as long as you keep that utilization low, meaning use it and pay it off in full or keep it under 10%, it just helped your credit utilization, which gave you more buying power and will strengthen your score over time as well. Plus, if you make sure that you wait before you actually go through the full process of buying the home, you heighten your chances of actually getting qualified, just because the inquiries will be somewhat behind you. As for the student loans, I can see that playing a part just due to debt to income ratio. But as long as you get on top of it, like you said you already are doing, that should be okay. Just make sure it's staying paid up. Don't be late on it at all, because student loans are a totally different monster. So you're doing some great things. I would just personally recommend, if you've done quite a few inquiries, don't smash the gas until, 90 days after that series of inquiries, so it can, buy you some time. And in the meantime, just keep taking those necessary steps to strengthen your score. Does that make sense, Kane?
Yeah, so the inquiries, all that actually happened. So prior to, actually all the inquiries happened this week. Monday I did the application for Navy. Monday I did the application for Navy. Yesterday I did an application for Quicken Loans. And then last night, actually it was this morning, technically, about 2:30 this morning, I applied for the Discover card and then 3 American Express cards. But the thing is, I was following the tips and the guide that I was looking, and the guy was saying that, well, I ain't gonna go into that. But anyway, it was 3 American Express cards I was going for, but because they denied the first one, they didn't even run the other 2. So I don't think I got hit with all the points. It might just be the 2 points. So I've only did like 3 mortgage loans this week and the 2 credit card offers. But I didn't plan on applying for anything else. anyway, like, cause my main focus is trying to get a house. My brother and I applied just to see like how much, like you said, how much house I could get approved for. But ultimately, what my long-term goal is to actually like get like a multi-family place with one of my younger brothers, and actually use it, to like, because I'm in Detroit right now, but I live in Atlanta. But since I work from home, I've actually been back home just kind of like kicking it since August. So since I'm here, I'd rather like have a spot of my own. So that's kind of like my reason behind all of that. But yeah, so that's actually the plan, like for getting the mortgage. So that's what I'm trying to get approved. But I was thinking with the Discover card, I've been hearing people say, talk about trade lines. Is that something I could do like on my own, just like charge somebody like, to even, get, I guess, add them as an authorized user on that new Discover card? Or it might be too soon. It might be a little premature for that since I just got it, got approved for it. Or I was even thinking that, even if I go with the FHA loan, possibly, if I need to put down the down payment, even use it towards that. But I'm just trying to, but all the inquiries did happen this week, just so you know.
Gotcha. Okay, that helps. The fact that it's in a small window. I like the idea of the multifamily option instead of just getting a regular home, because that's a good wealth building strategy. So salute to that. And that's a whole different conversation when you talk about using that $7,000 Discover for a trade line, because there are things people are doing in order to make money off of their credit limit. But, I won't get into that on this. But as far as the multifamily idea, I think that's a great idea. The fact that you did all of your inquiries in a small window, that's helpful. And then just kind of set it out with date on when you actually want to push the button on actually qualifying for the home or multifamily. And I think you'll be good to go. You're conscious enough of your credit, and it sounds like you're paying attention to your report enough to where you'll know if those inquiries have affected you. So just keep an eye on that report and paying attention to it. But you're on the right track. You're not doing too much too fast. The main thing is you're taking action, but I would at least set the date out to actually acquire the property, a couple months out. Outside of today, since everything is so recent.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Anybody else who have just hopped in the room? Basically, this is a get in, get out kind of room. I want to take up all day on your time. I respect your time. So if you clicked on this room because you saw free credit class and crash course, in order to access that, all you have to do, follow us here. Go to our IG, follow us there. That link in the bio will show you how you can access the 100% free credit class as well as the crash course. All you have to do, enter your email and you'll get access to both of those. So I just really wanted to give you the ability to get what you need, get out if need be, so you can go in the hallway, go into another room, or more importantly, apply what you just got access to. Because it's one thing to collect a lot of data and collect a lot of information, but if you don't apply anything, then you just got a lot of information. So it's all about application of what you learn. So definitely you can grab that credit class and dive straight into it. It's not that long, and the crash course is more in depth. You can get access to that and tap into it as well. But if you have a personal credit question, all you have to do is raise your hand. I'll bring you up to the stage, get that question answered. Just wanted to let you know how easy it is for you to access that free credit class and crash course. So if you're in the audience and you have a personal credit question, raise your hand. I'll bring you up to the stage, and I'll take a couple more questions. I have a couple of things on the list to do, but I wanted to peep in, give, as many people who wanted it, free credit class and crash course, but take some questions in the meantime so I can give some value and, hopefully give you something that you can take and run with. So if you have a question and you're in the audience, raise your hand. I'll bring you to the stage. If not, grab your free credit class, follow us here, follow us on IG, click that link in the bio, and you can access that credit class and crash course. While I wait for somebody to come to the stage, if they have a question, I will go over 5 things that I feel, if you know this, then it'll position you to have a slight edge amongst most people when it comes to credit. And if you're ever paying someone to restore your credit for you, you at least know the role that you play, and if they know what they're doing, or if they have your best interest at heart. So if you're in a position to take notes, it might be worth your time to do so. Understanding the 5 factors of credit is something that you want to try to commit to memory. You want to know this like we know the alphabet. You want to know this like certain songs. Even if you got to put it into a song, do what you have to do to remember these things. So now you know where your score may be lacking and what you need to do to possibly strengthen that area. So it's 5 factors of credit. I go over each factor, then I elaborate on what each factor is. Then I take a couple questions and then we'll get out of here. So basically the 5 factors of credit are this. Number 1, payment history. That's 35% of your score. That's like 192.5 points that go into calculating or how your score is calculated. That's number 1. Number 2 is credit utilization. That's 30% of your score. So that's 165 points that go into calculating your score. The next one is credit history. That's 20% of your score. Then we have credit mix and new credit. Both of those are 10% of your score. So my percentage might have been off on the credit history. I believe it's 15, and then the last two are 10%. But if you understand payment history, credit utilization, credit history, which is just the age of your credit mix, which is just the combination of things you have reporting on your credit report, basically seeing that they can tell that you're good at making on-time payments over time. Basically, they can see that you're good at utilizing your credit card by keeping your utilization low, and seeing that you're good with installment debt, whether that's car note, a mortgage, student loans, personal loans, or even some type of secured loan that you can get from a bank or self-Inc., which is self-lending. All of those things help give you proper mixture. They want to know that you're able to handle all different types of debt, and that helps strengthen your score. And then new credit is basically the most recent things that you may have applied for, especially when it comes to those most recent 2 years. So if you understand those 5 factors, then you know where you might be lagging. So payment history, if you haven't been taking care of your payments over the past 2 years, is going to reflect it on your score. However, going forward, you want to get in the habit of making sure you pay things on time, really ahead of time, all the time, because it can drop your score drastically depending on what entity it is coming from. So student loans might drop your score more than, a utility bill, or mortgage can drop your score. Credit card payments can drop your score. So make sure you're paying things on time. Credit utilization, that being 165 points. If you do not have a credit card or some type of line of credit, that's 165 points that you're leaving on the table. And that's one of my most favorite ones because you have the most control over your credit utilization, over obtaining and getting that 165 points. What do I mean? Well, when it comes to payment history, if you had some hiccups in the past, now when you're sending off your letters trying to get the bureaus to remove it, or you're trying to get the creditors to remove it using a goodwill letter, it's contingent upon their decision to remove it. But with credit utilization, you can acquire a majority of that 165 points just by getting your utilization low. I personally recommend keeping it under 10%. I know I hear a lot of people say keep it under 30, divide by 3, and that's cool. That's better than overutilizing your credit, but under 10%, you mark my word, you get it under 10% or get in the habit of paying it off in full and carrying no balance, but preferably under 10%. Basically will help your score just by keeping it low. And now you position yourself to have maximize that 165 points that comes from credit utilization. Credit history is basically how long have you been using your credit. So if you started using your credit as soon as you were 18 and you're 30 now, then you have a good stretch in terms of the age of your credit. And that also ties into if you're disputing things on your report to avoid eliminating or deleting the item on your report that is the oldest, even if it's derogatory and it's showing up red and negative. You want to keep it because it contributes to your credit history. And if you remove it, then you lose the points that go into that area of credit history. And then the last two I discussed, which is credit mix, just basically a combination of revolving and installment debt. Revolving debt is credit cards, lines of credit. And installment debt, student loans, car notes, personal loans, mortgage. All of that is installment debt. So if you have a mixture of those things, then it helps strengthen your score. And then what you've done in your most recent 2 years of credit, new credit, inquiries, things of that nature fall into that last category. So just take a step back and understand those things. And you can say, okay, my payment history is good. I've been making good payments for the past 2 years. Okay, so I just need to keep doing what I'm doing in that area. But my utilization is definitely not under 10%. Let me spend some attention there. Or, I don't have enough credit history. Let me build up some good actions and history in terms of what I'm doing going forward. Or you might realize you don't have proper mix. Some people I talk to don't have a credit card at all just because they, just don't like the idea of having one due to lack of discipline. If that's the case, you want to get some type of line of credit or credit card, because that's 165 points off the top that you're leaving on the table by not having it. So understand those 5 factors, and those 5 factors can take you pretty far. I'm gonna tell you how you can access the free credit class and crash course. Again, I'll take a question if somebody wants to raise their hand now, but I'm about to wrap it up. But if you want to access the free credit class and crash course, all you have to do, follow us here. Go to our IG, follow us there, click that link in the bio. You'll see the 100% free credit class as well as the crash course. You put your email in, you get instant access to the free credit class, and then I'll approve you to get inside the crash course once I see it, and I grant you access to it. But it's a ton of information that if you apply it, your score will increase and your knowledge about credit will increase. So I thank you for hopping on. If no one has a question, I'm going to wrap up, and we may do this again a little later and may even open it up to the hallway so you can ping people in. I just wanted this to be a small, intimate setting. So if you have a personal credit question, now would be a time to raise your hand. I'll bring you to the stage. If not, be sure not to miss out and go ahead and grab that free credit class as well as the crash course. You want to grab both due to the fact that the crash course is more in depth. So we may go over some things in a free credit class that are not as in depth as if you were to get the crash course. So the crash course will actually dive in a lot deeper, and I think you'll get some of your questions answered that may not be answered in a free credit class. Okay, Queen, I brought you to the stage. I do not want to mess up your name. Ask your question. Talk to me. I'm listening.
Hi, my name is Kimon.
Hello, Kimon.
Thank you guys for starting this room. I always get value when I come on Clubhouse, and I appreciate each and every moderator. My question is, I have a repo on my credit report. It's been on there for like 2 years now, but it's the hardest thing to remove. How can I get that removed, if at all?
How old is the repo? I know you said it's been on your report for 2 years. And is it on your report from a collection agency or the initial creditor placed it on there?
I think it's the original company.
Okay. How old is that account? Like, what year did you open that account?
I opened it 2017.
Okay, so you opened it in 2017, and it's been a repo on your account since about what, 2018, 2019?
2019.
Gotcha. Okay, and you have some other accounts that are older than that 2018 credit relationship that you had with that company, correct?
That would be my student loans.
So your student loans are older than that account?
Yes.
Okay.
My student loans are 2014.
Gotcha. Just wanted to make sure you weren't trying to delete the oldest account. But as it relates to those repos, a lot of it is persistence. What measures have you gone through to try to get it deleted? Have you been disputing things online? Have you sent out letters? What have you done?
I've been sending letters.
Okay.
Online too, so I did both.
Okay. I personally recommend doing the letters, because sometimes when you dispute things online, you waive your rights and you minimize your future results that you're able to get, until something changes. But what was your, in your letter, what did you include as your reason for disputing in the letter? Did you say that you didn't recognize it was inaccurate, you wanted them to verify it, inaccurate? I
was just pretty much saying that this account is not mine.
Gotcha. Okay. So a couple of things you can do, a couple of different approaches that you can take in order to get that done, or make sure that the verbiage is included in the letter. A lot of times, if you have them to verify the account, like that's the request, you had an account on there and you request them to verify the account. And then as what you want them to do, the action you want them to take, if you say something along the lines of, please supply the information that you use to verify this item, what it does is cover a couple of things at once. You want them to verify the account, prove that it's yours. And you want them to supply how they went about doing that. I've had, clients' reports that I was able to get 17 things deleted on one swing with that type of verbiage, because I want them to verify it as well as supply how you went about verifying it. Now, if they do happen to verify, they send you a letter and say it was verified, then you want to just follow up with some type of method of verification. And basically, they would really have to prove the means of which they verified it. So you'll have to find a method of verification letter. We have a platform on our link that's a DIY system if you want to access that, but that's not the free item, and that's why I didn't mention it here, but it includes a ton of different letters. Plus I have a ton of different letters, so if you grab that DIY and you don't see what you need, I'll be able to give you access to others. But that method of verification letter really asks them a ton of questions on how they went about verifying their debt, because it's a certain way they have to go about doing it to prove that it was actually yours. So I would take that approach, get them to verify it, and then if they do verify it, have them to follow with a method of verification. The last bonus way to do it, because sometimes you might have to send multiple letters. It's a game of persistence, but verbiage does help. Is if you're looking at your report and you look across the board on that repo, if the last activity date is incorrect, names are misspelled, the account name is different, the account number is different, and you see it doesn't match across all three bureaus, then you can say, hey, inaccurate last activity date, please remove this from my credit report. So that's another option, just looking at the inaccuracies on the report, because truth be told, that's what you're disputing. When you're disputing, you're just saying it's inaccurate, and the law allows you to do that. When you're requesting them to verify, you're not even saying that it's not yours. You're just saying, hey, I just want you to verify that this is mine. So now they have to have the burden of proof. They have to prove that it is yours. Why are you reporting this on my report without proof that this is mine? So just some options that you can go to follow through with what you're already doing. Queen, does that help?
Yeah, thank you. Where would I find the letters that you mentioned?
The letters is inside the DIY, the do-it-yourself credit system. So if you want access to that, that link is in the bio. That's not one of the freebies, but it's definitely, it pays for itself. I'll say that. Okay. So if you click that link in the bio, you can access it two different ways, actually. You can access it through the DIY, and then that top button where we talk about a $19.95 membership, a membership that costs $20 basically. It's a membership, so it's a monthly associated with it. That'll actually get you access to us, the letters, some guidance, and some other financial steps to better your overall finances, and credit is just one of them. So some people prefer to come in at that low entry point of $20 and then get access to us and the group and all of that. So take your pick, but if you have any questions, send us a DM and we don't mind addressing it and, give you some guidance and value, whether you grab that or not.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I see some new faces that came in. Basically, this group is about to wrap up. I just wanted it to be a get in, get out kind of group. And basically, if you want the free credit class and crash course, you follow us here. Go to our IG, follow us there. Click that link in that bio. You'll see the 100% free credit class. You'll also see the crash course. Get both of them, because one is more in depth than the other. And you just put your email address in and you'll get access to both of those. I see I just brought a queen on the stage by the name of Erica. Erica, go ahead and ask your personal credit question and we'll wrap it up.
Hey, good evening, everyone. My name is Erica Gilliam. I'm calling from Jersey. So right now I leased a car, so I noticed my credit score went down, but it's going up slowly again. After I get out of debt, which is a few thousand, but it's definitely obtainable, what is the next step to improve my credit score, right? So my goal is to get that high 800. At one point I was 730, but with the drop of the lease, it did go down. So any tips outside of being debt free to increase the credit score?
Gotcha. Let me ask a couple of questions just so I don't give you a blanket answer, and then I give you some specific answers and then give everybody a blanket answer to your question so everybody can apply it. And all of the stuff I'm going to say is more than likely inside the free items. But do you currently have any credit cards, any loans that you're paying off, and how's your payment history? I'll ask you those three questions.
Okay, my payment history, according to my credit card, is 98%. It's really good, in my opinion. I have 3 credit cards that are getting paid off, and then loans, it's just my student loan, and I have a mortgage.
Perfect. So keep all of that, keep that payment history intact. That's going to be a big deal. So 90%, 98%, keep that up. Awesome. The credit utilization, paying those credit cards down, is going to help your score go up. You'll see it going up almost in real time, especially if you set a goal for getting all of those credit cards under 10% utilization. So if you have $1,000 credit limit, under $100. If you have a $5,000 credit limit, under $500 and maintaining it at that, if not getting it down to zero. That credit utilization will help you get almost 165 points total just by getting that down. So you're doing the right thing in that area. And then as it relates to doing that over time and paying that student loan, that gives you a good combination of revolving debt, which is the credit cards, and installment debt, which are the student loans. So you have multiple things working in your favor right now, whether you realize it or not. So by doing it, you'll see your score increasing. And if you dive into the free content that we give, you may see some other opportunities on how you can strengthen it even more. So does that answer your question, Coin?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. And the blanket answer that I want to give to everybody is back to those 5 factors of credit. This will make you a beast in terms of understanding credit, and you'll just know what you need to spend the most attention on. Like she knew, I was able to ask her what was her payment history like. She knew right off the bat that it was good, 98%. That's awesome. That's number one. Factor number one is payment history, especially these last 2 years. The most recent 2 years have the largest effect on your credit score. So payment history, number one, that's important because that's 35% of your score. That's about 192 points. That comes from just making good payments on time, over time, all the time. Number two is credit utilization. As I was talking to her, I told her credit cards are a huge piece of your credit score. That's 30%, 165 points. Keeping it under 10% is the goal. Despite you might have heard under 30% or divide by 3, under 10%. Mark my word. That will help out tremendously if you do that with your credit cards. Credit history is just the age of your credit. And this is the one you don't have the most control over unless you get something like an authorized user. Like say, for example, you don't have much credit history. You've only been using your credit for 5 years. Well, you might have to wait it out before you're able to tap into the credit numbers of 750 or 800. However, if you got a family member that you trust and you know that they are taking care of their credit, they're paying things on time, they're keeping their utilization low, you can have them to add you as an authorized user. And if they add you as an authorized user, you inherit their good payment history, their good credit utilization, as well as their good credit history. But I only recommend it being a good family member because they can add you. They don't have to issue you out a card, so it's not like you're going to mess up their credit. But I recommend that opposed to paying someone for a trade line, because most of the time when you pay for a trade line, it's temporary. I'd rather you solidify your own score. And if you do an authorized user or get added as an authorized user, you do it with somebody who you plan on having a lifelong relationship with. In many cases, if somebody sells you a trade line, that's a short-term relationship, but you're expecting a long-term results. It's kind of counterproductive, so I don't recommend that. And a lot of people sell that, and that may step on some toes of people in the credit industry. But hey, I said what I said. And then having a combination of credit utilization as well as credit installment debt. So installment debt with credit cards and installment debt with like the student loans, car notes, mortgages, things of that nature, and revolving debt with credit cards. Having that combination gives you that mixture. And then just be aware of your most recent 2 years, which is your new credit. Understanding all 5 of those things will position you to take a look at your scenario and say, okay, I'm lacking in this area, but I'm succeeding in this area. Let me put more emphasis here. And then you'll be able to see it flip your score, and you'll know how to correct it if you ever get off track again. Hopefully that was beneficial. Hopefully you took some notes. Hopefully you got some value. Hopefully you had fun like I did. And we will probably do this again. If you just entered the room, basically this is an in and out kind of room. I'm about to wrap it up. Just wanted to get some value, get some content out there, and at the same time give people access to the free credit class and crash course. In order to access that, all you have to do is follow us here. Go to our IG, follow us there. Click that link in the bio. You'll see both the free credit class as well as the crash course. Grab them both. The crash course is more in depth, so it may answer some questions that are not answered in the credit class. So you want to grab both of them, and all you have to do is put in your email address. You'll get instant access to the credit class, and then I'll approve you to get inside the crash course. So that way you can go through the process. You can have direct access to us, ask questions, and get some additional help in terms of restoring your credit. Or if you want to actually get the DIY system, and there's a ton of other things in that list on the link. If you want to take advantage of any of those things, do so as you wish based on your own scenario. But I just wanted to get this free value. Hopefully everybody got some value. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this room up. I got some things to do, but grab your free credit class and crash course in our IG link in the bio. And hopefully you apply. And if you apply and you get some results, let us know the results that you got. Because it's one thing to acquire all of this knowledge in a room, all of this game inside a Clubhouse. But if you never apply, then you just spent a lot of time learning. But application is where the magic happens. So I love you all. Salute and applaud to everybody who chimed in on the room. Grab your free credit class. Follow us here and on IG. Click the link in the bio and it's yours. Talk to you soon. Salute. All right, I said what I said. All right, I said what I said. And it's a wrap. No R&B. Bye.